All right, man. We are here for another session of Cut Talk. It's good to be here, man. Today went smooth, man. I cannot complain. I had 13 stops, Walkershaw area. My trailer was picked pretty good. All the pallets was picked pretty good. No product was destroyed. Customers were happy. Everybody got their stuff on time. It was a little chillier today. It's probably a high of probably in the 50s. But even though that wasn't bad either, man. So I will say, man, shout out to my company, man. Stuff has been a little rocky lately with just a lot of turnover in the warehouse, but they've been able to get stuff together, and I can't complain, man. It's smooth, man. It's 3:08. Normally on Tuesdays I'm home by like 4:30, but these past couple Tuesdays they've been solid, so I can't complain. Shout out to y'all, man. Keep doing what y'all doing. But on this show today, man, I wanted to talk about a few things. Let's just hop right into it. So as we know, the 2024 presidential election is coming up quick. Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, former President Donald Trump, who to pick. I already told you guys that I'm neutral. Like, I'm not really for either candidate. I got love for Kamala just because of the organization she's with and the way she handles herself. So I look at her as an auntie. But just because you look at somebody like that, you still can disagree with some of the things they stand for overall and not want to necessarily be on that side. And I look at OG Trump, man, that's the drunk uncle at the picnic who just say whatever and don't care, man. I admire his mindset at times, but I'm not with him in terms of morale, the way he carries himself. I am not at the point where I could just walk into a booth and select Donald Trump. I can't do it. I don't feel that way about either candidate, so I'm neutral. It could change, but for now, I'm neutral. But one issue that I haven't heard anybody really address, and I did a little research on this before I got on, just so I don't look crazy, but it's childcare and just the cost of childcare. Like I saw that Kamala during her vice presidency, she definitely proposed that money should be put to childcare, given to childcare. But what does that mean? And that was 3 years ago. Like I've tried to pay attention to a lot of her like proposals and plans that she has if she's elected, but I haven't heard anything solid about affordability of childcare. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, please do, because I would like to know. And I've also didn't hear. I haven't heard anything from Trump either, but I could be wrong. I just haven't seen or heard anything about him coming up with proposals that will give help parents out with childcare. Now, the way it works in Wisconsin is if you make a certain amount, you don't qualify for assistance. And like my wife and I, we over that amount. Like we do pretty okay for ourselves. But that doesn't mean just because we do okay that childcare still isn't expensive. Like it's ridiculous. And the crazy thing is the daycare we send our daughters to, and shout out to them, shout out to Bev. It's I feel like she gave us a discount. Like Bev doesn't even charge top tier prices. Like I feel like Bev like is trying to look out for what she charged, and it's still super expensive, and I got to pay every week. And it's like, man, why is it so expensive? And I understand like child care providers have a job to do. They with your kids all day. They got supplies they got to pay for. They got to be paid for their work. I'm totally for that. But I think it's a little unfair because my wife and I, like my family, my household, we middle class. We don't make millions of dollars. Yeah, we do all right, but like that still is a hit for us every week to have to pay what we pay. And I have yet to hear one candidate address that, because we not the only ones. Like, I have friends, other friends who who do qualify for assistance and can get that, but we don't. I have friends who don't qualify, and maybe they, the wife stays home, or they can utilize the grandparents. Funny thing for us, that kind of got shot down because my sister has kids, my older sister had kids, and that wasn't something my parents was trying to do in terms of watching the kids. So when it came to me and I had kids, you can't play favoritism. My parents couldn't play favoritism. And what's crazy is my parents live 5 minutes from me. My parents' house is actually closer to our house than the daycare is. But I understand why they can't watch my girls. And I only have 2 kids. But I understand. And I have 2 kids, and we have a pretty much an infant who really isn't a hard watch. But I get why. I understand that situation. And I would never fault my parents for that. But just with our infant, was she 9 months? Just with her, Bubs alone, who's an infant, mind you. She don't talk. She not even on solid food yet. For her daycare costs, it's $12,000 a year just for Bubs. For a 9-month-old. $12,000 a year. If my parents watched Bubs, that would be saving us 12 G's a year. 12 G's a year. Even if they watched her part-time, that's 6 G's a year. Let's say they cut 50% of the time. That's 6 G's a year we would be saving. But that's just one kid. I ain't even gonna bring up Skylar and do that, because that'd just get me mad. But like, one kid, like, could be saving me potentially $12,000 a year. And it's like, I'm not gonna put it on my parents, because we had our kids in like daycare and childcare. That comes with it. But I keep hearing this narrative, oh, you gotta vote, you gotta let your voice be heard. Well, I ain't voting until somebody speaks to my needs. And one of those needs is childcare. The way our finances work, I take care of childcare. So that's coming out of my pocket every week, not every month, every week. Kamala, what's up? Trump, what's up? What is the plan put in place to get down some of these childcare costs, or give assistance to everyone fairly? I'm not saying, like, if it's a household that makes $40,000 total between the husband and the wife, I get that they need assistance and they might need a certain amount to cover childcare. They got a couple kids. I am not saying that I need the same as them, but it would be nice to have some type of stipend, some type of credit or something. We ain't getting nothing. Even taxes last year, we didn't get no credit for our kids. Like, nothing. We didn't get no daycare credit. And that might be because last year, taxes might have been because of what the economy was going through, and I don't know. But I just feel like the middle class just get hit the hardest when it comes to certain stuff. And I feel like if you make a certain amount, you get penalized for it. Like I said, we not millionaires, but we not poor. So that segment of people just get hit the hardest. And I have yet to hear any of these candidates speak to that. If one did, no lie, if Kamala had a plan or Trump had a plan, I will honestly be tuned in and be all ears. Because luckily, Scoots, my oldest daughter, she going to school next year. So that child care cost just for her probably will go down. I don't even know, to be honest. We might do childcare just in the summertime, because I think the school she going to got after school. So we might just do, summertime for Scoots. But we still gonna have Bubs. But man, like, what's up? As a American tax-paying citizen, that is a interest I have, and I want that to be spoken to by one of these candidates. Something. Y'all say voting is let our voice be heard. Well, I'm letting my voice be heard now, and I hope I don't know how, but by the grace of God, one of these candidates see this and address it. Not just for me, but just the middle class. Cause man, like, and even just in terms of middle class, the taxes I gotta pay that come out of my check is crazy. Especially if you do it, the taxes I paid compared to what I got back in returns, bruh. And I'm not trying to go into what I make because that's my business. But it's laughable what our tax return was last year compared to like how much I got taxed at my job. Like I'm saying, man, the middle class, bro, we just get we get it the worst, man. And we still young and I still got plans to build and grow and hopefully I can, keep moving up in terms of just finances. But right now, this is what it is. And help. What's the plan? Come on, man. What's the plan? Auntie, what's the plan? OG, what's the plan, man? What's the plan? But yeah, I don't mean to raise my voice and get pumped up, but that's just how I be feeling, man. Cause like I said, the way our daycare is set up, it's an every week payment. And shout out to Bev. Bev be wanting her money. Like, if I'm late just in that day, like I get a text from my wife, hey, did you pay Bev yet? Like, dang, Bev, it's still give me some time. Like, so yeah, but let me stay off that. But another topic I wanted to discuss is I used to be a huge fan of the Breakfast Club back in the day, but now I still mess with them, but I don't really watch it as much now just because of the other podcasts that are out there. But I watched it. I want to say that was like a week ago. I watched when Carrie Champion was on. I don't know when Carrie Champion actually was on the Breakfast Club, but I watched her interview about a week ago. And shout out to Carrie Champion, man. I was a fan of her on First Take. Like the dynamic that she had with Stephen A. Like it was a funny dynamic. It was almost like big brother, little sister at the dinner table, just cracking up, man. So like that was a cool dynamic. So I got love for Carrie Champion. But when she came on the show and just some of the things she was saying about equality for women and just racism and just certain stuff she was saying I disagreed with. And the one vibe I get from that show is if you have a black woman on the show and she's, strong, like, very outspoken, just articulate woman. Like, if you disagree with her, I just feel like the guys on that show, it's a problem. Or like, if I disagree with a black woman, oh, okay, you ain't on our side. You don't agree with our plight. You disagree. You disregard what we saying. You're not acknowledging what women go through in this country. Like, it ain't none of that. I just don't agree with the point in which you're making right now. She talked about the WNBA and just some of the stuff the ladies are going through, the ladies of color in the WNBA are going through, and just how Asia Wilson, shout out to Asia Wilson, she is the best player in the league. But how like she doesn't get the publicity she deserves, and she's always been that good. And how come Caitlin Clark got it right away, and she isn't as good as Asia Wilson? And I kind of agree with that. But like just some of the stuff she was just saying about women's equality in terms of like the players in that league and just racism in that league, I disagree with her. But I feel like, and this is a bigger conversation. I feel like today with black women and just women in general as a man, if you don't, if you come off as, how can I say it? Because I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But I feel like if you don't agree with everything a woman has to say, you get regarded as a misogynist, or you get, I don't know, you get labeled as somebody who's not trying to hear the plight of women or who's trying to disregard what women have to say. I'm going to say this. That's not right. And I feel like you almost got to come off as a punk when a woman talks today. in certain situations, especially when it comes to sisters. I'm gonna say this, and this is how I move. I respect everybody, and I'm willing to listen to everybody. But just because I don't agree with everything you say, that doesn't mean I have little respect for you, or I don't hear disregarding struggles you might go through. No, I just don't agree with a point you made. But I'm definitely, my ears are open and I'm trying to understand and hear where you coming from. But I feel like now I feel like you just, as a man, it's hard to do that without coming off a certain way. Like one thing, one dynamic I really don't like that they do on that show, and I think it is intentional. I don't know for sure, but I think it is intentional. So they have politicians come on the show, and every time they have a conservative come on the show, they have a woman of color, a political woman of color like an Angela Rye or Teslin, I think her name Figaro. They have them come on the show and be very combative with the guests. And it almost like Envy and Charlemagne kind of play the background, but it's almost like it's a very combative like conversation that takes place between the guests and the commentator, whether it be Angela or Tez. And I don't like that because it's almost like you putting that guest in a position to speak against a black woman, or you putting that guest in a position to have arguments and back and forth, not in a good way with the black woman, or you almost making it seem like the guest seem like, oh, if I say anything against this black woman, that's not gonna be a good look. So let me punk up to her. Like, no, 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 no. I'm not with that. And I think the show does that intentionally. Like that show, I've seen Bakari Sellers on that show a lot. Like, why can't Bakari come in and be a commentator that goes against or debates with a conservative on the show? Why is it always a black woman? Like, don't get me wrong, Angela Rye, like, super smart. Like, Tez, super smart. But I feel like they come to that show with a certain energy for conservatives. And I'm not even a conservative, but you could see it. Like, why is it that dynamic? And then, like, y'all, Charlemagne and Envy kind of play it. Well, like, they had that energy for Larry Elder. They had that energy for Vivek and Republicans. The fact that Vivek isn't the candidate for the ticket right now is crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, if Vivek was running, I'll vote for Vivek. But side note. And they had a cat named Byron, I forgot his last name, Byron Black. Super well spoken dude. I think he's a congressman. Like, but just had that energy. Like, why is it that dynamic? Like, a man should be able to sit with a woman, especially people of color. We should be able to sit with each other and respectfully disagree with each other without the man having to become a punk or without the woman having to look like a bitch. Excuse my language, but that's what they come off as at times. I know if I was there and I'm coming to have a cordial conversation and I get hit with that energy, I'm looking to Envy and I'm looking to Charlemagne like, hey, I didn't come here for this. Like, if we can't sit here and talk cordial, I don't want to be here. I know, like, when Vivek was on, Envy tried to check Vivek, and Tez was interrupting him the whole time. Like, what I'm supposed to do? And then you coming at me crazy, like, you need to talk to her. So that dynamic, men and women, we have to have the maturity to sit down and be able to have rational, cordial, logical conversations in peace, even if two sides disagree. That's why young men and women coming up in terms of that dynamic is so rocky. Men and women don't know how to talk to each other. Why is that? Because that's what they see from their parents. That's what they see from society. So I feel like that has to get better. And if I'm the Breakfast Club, if I'm a producer on that show, I'm talking to them and saying like, that's not a good look. First of all, it looked like we biased. That shouldn't be it shouldn't be a biased platform. It should be open. Charlemagne has said he's not a Republican or a Democrat. So why every time a Republican come on the show it's a fight. Like, and you supposed to be neutral. I don't know what envy is, but it's a bad look at the end of the day, and it makes men look like punks, especially if it's men who don't have the same beliefs as another side. So, but yeah, I had to just get that out, and just in terms of the pod. So, Cut Talk, I've been just thinking of ways to just like push this pod forward, push the channel forward. I still love the bros, but it's been a struggle to try to get them guys down here. So in terms of the pod, it's some changes that I do want to make to it. Like the name will remain Cut Talk. I'm gonna keep that name forever, just because I think it's dope. It's a reminder of why this channel was started. You know, to have dialogue amongst men and just dialogue and just conversations in general. But my last two videos, I did self cuts on myself, and they did pretty well, and it was just cool doing that. So like starting probably whenever my next haircut is, that's gonna be the format of the pod. So I'm gonna have my topics in terms of sports, pop culture, and still stick with a theme. But I'm gonna be cutting my hair while we doing that, and it's just gonna be me. Hopefully in the future we can work back to getting the guys down there, but until that happens, it's just gonna be me, man. Me and my clippers, and just good conversations and just speaking, just getting stuff off my chest like I did today. Like I needed to come down here and speak because the daycare stuff just had my blood boiling. The dynamic between men and women had my blood boiling. So it's a nice release to come down here and make a video and get it out. But yeah, man, so like be on the lookout for those new changes, man. Like I believe in myself. I believe in what I'm trying to do down here. And I just pray that God can use this platform to push his word and just to help people. That's what I want to do at the end of the day. Like, yeah, I want to make some bread. I want to be monetized, but I want to do it in a way that brings honor and glory to God. And if it's something that doesn't do that, I just can't be a part of it. So yeah, man, that's it. It's 3:30. This video probably gonna be like 20-25 minutes. But this was a cool one, man. I got my new setup behind me, man. Oh, I'm gonna come out with another video in terms of liners. I did a clipper video, so I'm gonna come out with a video in terms of like just the best, some of my favorite liners and trimmers I like to use. Like my Andes Classic T outliner. I was able to fix this because this was down for a while. I wasn't using this for a while just because it was broke, but I was able to fix it and got it charged. And now I'm looking forward to my next haircut to break these boys out. Like smooth T outliner blade. I got it modified. I got the gold blades on there, just like light. Got them zero gapped, but like just dope clipper. And if you know me, bro, I love nostalgia. I love nostalgia. And just to have this and this combination, like these was some of the first clippers I started out with. And they was corded. So to be able to be in the future and have the cordless versions but still be rocking with these, like it does my heart well just to see these. I feel like with these I've gotten better, and I've got a system down with these to where like I'm dope now with these, so these will always be around. And the fact that I got these boys back in rotation, man, just dope. What else I got back here? I was able to get these boys back up and running too, man. My detailers, these was an early liner that I had. I remember I actually saved up my money to buy these, so these definitely have a special place in my heart. These slice. I got the gold modified blade on them, and they just powerful. These was down for a little bit. They wasn't broke. I was just using other stuff, but I was able to put my gold blades back on these and like just bring them back out. So I'm happy for that. Nostalgia. These probably ain't as nostalgic as these, but they still classics, like classics. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. That's all that I got going on with the kid. I still got a little time to just sit and chill before the before my wife and my babies come home. But yeah, man, this was a cool video. And it was cool to like normally I got the camera over there facing the wall, but I was able to, switch and just do something a little different today. Again, I'm proud of my barber station I put it together Friday night. I used it all Saturday, and it was just so efficient cutting with this. Like I knew where everything was. I actually got a place for my blow dryer, my other blower, like all my it just looks neat and professional. And that's the look I'm after, man. It just helps me be more efficient with my cuts. So yeah, man, that's going on with me, man. Work has been going smooth so far. I'm gonna be in the racing area tomorrow with my route. That should be cool. So it's pretty much downhill for me, man. Just headed towards the weekend, man. Please check out the video, like, share, and subscribe, and be on the lookout for the new format of the pod. Like I said, it's still cut talk, but we just gonna switch it up a little bit and see how the people like the new format. But I love y'all, and be on the lookout. My sister trying to put some things in the work, and her and I might get on here and have a show just because I know what she going through. Dope individual. Should be some good times. But like I love y'all. Y'all stay smooth, man. Have a good week. It's Cut Talk.